It's mailbag time, okay? Time to hear from the flock themselves. Your questions, my answers, best segment of the week. I cannot wait to get into this one. It's going to be a ton of fun. Before we do, though, make sure you got me followed on X. You can find me at Joey Petersen 8. I'm going to make it super easy for you. The link to my Twitter is going to be in the comments and in the description of today's video, right under that first paragraph. Currently, I'm sitting at 953 followers. Not a bad amount at all. I want to get to 1,000, though, okay? And I need you guys to help me out to do that. Give me a follow. I just need 47 followers. Would really appreciate you to tweet about the Ravens every single day. So get me on X. Let's start with Welp. Great question. Kyle Hamilton was put 51 on the NFL Top 100. Where do you think he should be? I saw that, Welp, and I thought it was a travesty. I don't think he's the 51st best player in the NFL. I think he's like within the top 35. I don't think there's a better safety in the National Football League. I can tell you that. I've already spoken on that a ton. I spoke on that when his Madden ratings came out, and he was like the 8th best safety in Madden, which is ridiculous. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole because I already have, and there's part of me that believes the Madden ratings are just put out to stir up conversation about Madden. I digress. He's not the 51st best player in the NFL. I think every single team would want him to be their starting safety. He doesn't miss tackles. He's smart. He makes plays. You could put him anywhere on the field. So because of his positional versatility, I think the lowest I would put him is like 35, maybe 40, but definitely not 51. Kimberly Harmon coming up next. He thinks Zay Flowers will stay healthy, take the Ravens to the AFC Championship in Super Bowl. I think he will stay healthy. But if they make it to the AFC Championship in Super Bowl, it's not going to be because of Zay Flowers, but he's going to be a big part of that. Okay, I can promise you that. 1,000-yard receiver in 2024. I expect that to even take another jump up, another step up this year. He put on a lot of weight over the offseason. And when I say a lot, I mean that with quotation marks because he's 5'9". Like, a lot of weight to him is like 10, 15 pounds, which he did, okay? And I think that's going to help him a lot. I think it's going to help him stay healthier. If you look at his route running so far during training camp, he looks so smooth, so fast, so good, okay? So because of that, I think he's going to be a big part of this offense, and I think he was a big part of that loss last year in the playoffs because he wasn't there. He wasn't healthy, okay? I think if you have him in that Bills game, things might end up differently. Cannot wait to see Zay Flowers this year in 2025. Do you think Odafe Oweh has more potential than Kyle Van Noy to get more sacks? Yeah, I do. Partly because Odafe Oweh is a lot younger than Kyle Van Noy. Like, Oweh is going into his 4th, 5th season. Kyle Van Noy is going into like his 13th, okay? Now, Van Noy got more sacks than Oweh did last year, but kind of in the same breath as Zay Flowers, Oweh spent a ton of time on his body over the offseason. He added in like 20 pounds of muscle. So that's going to add a whole other element to his game. Not that he wasn't a powerful rusher before, but I bet his bull rush is going to get a whole lot better. He's going to be harder to block just in all aspects, mixed with his speed that he has, okay? So I think he has potential definitely to get more sacks than Kyle Van Noy. Coming up next is Zack Flory. Which former Ravens edge would you rather the Ravens sign, so have like a reunion with? Matthew Judon, Za'Darius Smith, or Jadeveon Clowney? That is a phenomenal question. Okay. I am going to need to find their ages. So Matthew Judon is 32. Za'Darius Smith is 32. And I think Jadeveon Clowney is like 35. He's 32 as well. Okay, so they're all the exact same age. I think I would take Za'Darius Smith. It's either Smith or Clowney. Because Clowney was in this system most recently, played in 2023, okay? So I think he'd fit right in. We already know that he fits really well in the system, and he was really, really good. Like, had debatably his career year with the Ravens in 2023. But I just think, honestly, Za'Darius Smith, at this point in his career, I think is playing better football. Matthew Judon did not have a great season last year. Jadeveon Clowney took a step back from 2023 to 2024. Za'Darius Smith, even though he played on the Browns and the Lions last year, had a really good year. So I think he's my pick out of those three, but I think it's close. I'd love any of the three of them. Which would you rather, okay? Judon, Smith, or Clowney? Let me know in the comment section down below by typing their initials. So give me an MJ, a ZS, or a JC in the comment section. Which one of those guys would you rather have a reunion with? Coming up next, we got Hurricane Jason. Do you think this is going to be a close game or a blowout? What's your prediction on how this game goes? I think you're talking Cowboys preseason game? I would assume so. Okay. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think any preseason games, now there were some blowouts, but like with Joe Milton on the other side and like Cooper Rush on this side, like I don't think either of these teams really have blowout potential. The Cowboys looked really bad against Los Angeles. And the Ravens, outside of a Keaton Mitchell drive and a LeJontay Wester punt return, they looked kind of bad against Indianapolis. I can't believe they actually won that game. So I don't think it's going to be a blowout. My score prediction is like 20-13. And I think it's kind of going to go similar. I think this team's going to be better passing offense-wise, but I don't think they're going to be anything prolific. I do think that you're going to get a couple Joe Milton turnovers, but he's going to give you a couple wow throws. I think low scoring, like nothing crazy, and I think the Ravens end up winning. Will the Ravens be the first seed, says Anthony Davis. What's up, AD? It's hard. They have a really hard schedule. They play in a really hard division. And the Buffalo Bills have a very easy schedule, and they play in a very easy division. Okay, they get to play the Jets. They get to play the Dolphins, who I think are going to suck. They get to play the Patriots, who I think are going to be better, but they're not going to be anything special. I honestly would lean towards Buffalo having the 1 seed. I hate Buffalo, but they just play an easier schedule. This team has to play Cincy twice a year. They have to play Pittsburgh twice a year. They have to play Kansas City on the road. They open up with Buffalo on the road. They also go to Detroit, or they have Detroit come to them in week 3. So it's just like, it's a hard schedule, which I love. I love these hard games. I think they're going to be a ton of fun. But the Ravens have it a little bit easier, in my opinion. You know who has it easy is you guys, because you guys can get this deal for $34. All you got to do, go down to the comment section, go down to the description. You'll find chatsports.com/purplehoodie. Click that link. It'll take you to this thing for $34. $34 for a brand new Ravens hoodie. You get to pick the size. It can go right to you. I know Christmas is 4 months away, right? We're still a good bit of ways from it. But if you want to do some early Christmas shopping, by the time Christmas comes, that's not going to be $34. So I don't know if you have a husband, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a cousin, a son, a daughter. Don't care. If you think they'd like this, get it. $34, chatsports.com/purplehoodie. Mike Nintendo Master is up next. Hashtag Ravens, after seeing Mitchell play in the preseason opener, will he get a bigger workload this season? Yeah, he's going to get a bigger workload this season than he did last season. They rushed him back on November 7th after he tore his ACL 11 months prior, and he just wasn't himself. He didn't trust his leg. I don't think he was 100%. He kind of was running, I don't want to say scared, but not running as confident as we saw him as a rookie. So, yeah, he's going to play a way bigger point this season this year. Now, how big is that? 10 carries a game? Maybe. You got to think about the other mouths to feed. Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, both tight ends, Rashad Bateman, Zay Flowers, DeAndre Hopkins. Like, there's a lot of really good weapons on this team. Where's Keaton Mitchell on that list? I don't know, but I don't see him getting more than like 10 carries a game. Darius Williams, how do you feel about the offensive line? Oh, Darius, the offensive line is interesting. It's very interesting because I love the center. I love the tackles. But Daniel Fa'alele and Andrew Voorhees, they stressed me out, man. I think we all saw the Daniel Fa'alele clip that's going viral on Twitter. It wasn't good. Andrew Voorhees didn't have that great of a game either. I just don't know if those guys fit the scheme that this offense plays in, right? But I don't know if you have anything better. Like, to me, I would go sign Brandon Scherf. He's a free agent. He's an interior offensive lineman. Played with the Jags all last season. I think at least bring him in for competition. Throw Ben Cleveland out there as a starter this next week. See how he does. We just got to get that figured out. That is the biggest weakness on this team. It's not even close. I believe Derrick Henry will have the most rushing yards this season. Book it. Do you mean in the National Football League, or do you mean just the most rushing yards on this team? Because if you're talking most rushing yards on this team, yeah, for sure. But in the NFL, I don't know. Just because he didn't even have them last year, and he had 1,900 yards on the season. And I don't know if he's going to have another 1,900 yard season. It's very hard to do that back-to-back. He's getting older. I think he's at least going to definitely get 1,400 or something like that if he can stay healthy. It's just going to be hard to do that 2 years in a row, okay? Now, I'm not saying that he sucks, right? I'm not saying he's going to have a down year, but I just think he's going to be a little bit less impactful than he was last year. I hope I'm wrong. Sasquatch 16, up next. If we had to sign one of these three QBs as a backup, Carson Wentz, C.J. Beathard, or Jeff Driscoll, who would you choose and why? Well, I would choose Carson Wentz. Yeah, I would choose Carson Wentz. I just think he has the higher upside. But, I mean, all three of them, I don't know if they're better than Cooper Rush. But being honest with you, like, I don't know. Maybe. I think we saw a really bad Cooper Rush on Thursday. I'm hopeful that tomorrow we see a much better version of him because he is better than he played. He is, okay? I saw him win 4 games for the Cowboys a couple of years ago. If he has to go in and play with this roster, with the starters, he's going to be able to win games. I can promise you that. He's done it before. I think he'll be able to do it again. I just think you saw a really bad version of him. And so I think I'd take Cooper Rush over all of them. Maybe not Carson Wentz. If I had to choose one of those guys, it'd be Wentz, though. Jimmy Chonga, 55. Who's been your favorite move for the Ravens this offseason? What's your favorite move they've made? Great question. I'm gonna like nix the draft because, I'm nixing the draft. I would say signing Jair Alexander to as cheap of a deal as you did. I love that addition. I think he works perfectly in this offense. I said this offense needed cornerback help. I don't think they did much. I don't think before that move they got much better than they were last year. Right? They basically just replaced Brandon Stevens with Chidobe Awuzie, and I was like, that's not doing it for me. But signing Jair Alexander for a $4 million contract, that does, okay? You got him for the cheap. Hopefully he's able to stay healthy. Obviously, that's always the big question mark. But that move has been my favorite. What's been your favorite move? Okay, I gave you mine. Now it's time for you to give me yours. Get in the comment section down below. What's been your favorite move? You can add in the draft. I didn't. You can do whatever you want. Appreciate all of you guys for watching. Make sure you got me on Twitter and Instagram at Joey Petersen 8. More than anything, though, make sure to subscribe to the channel. Daily updates on your Baltimore Ravens.